The flying camera, the HoverAir X1 Pro Max, is now fully updated, fully complete, all thanks to our feedback. This flying camera can now capture incredible, stunning 8K video with the most incredible dynamic range and awesome tracking performance. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my latest updates using the HoverAir X1 Pro Max with all its latest features. So let's get this video started. What's going on, guys? This is Eddie, aka Mr. Eddie Nunez. Thank you for watching another one of my videos. Thank you for hitting that play button. In this video, we're going to be talking about three different things or three different updates in regards to the HoverAir X1 Pro Max that I'm holding here in my hand. This is the ultimate flying camera, and it just became the true ultimate flying camera because it now has 8K in all different modes. When this drone first released, 8K was only available in certain modes. But in this video, we're gonna cover the three items. So one is the 8K that I just mentioned. Two is the enhancement to the exposure. And then three is the update to the beacon here, which now improves on the connection and signal quality and link between the actual beacon and the drone itself. And for your convenience, I'm not sure if this video is going to be long and lengthy like the typical Eddie videos, but I have included chapter markers down below so you can navigate to the portions that you're more interested about. In this video, I will also include samples of the HoverAir Pro Max following me on my electric e-bike, which on average goes between 20 to 30 miles per hour. We'll see how the HoverAir performs. So let's jump right into it. All right, so for the first segment of this video, I want to talk about 8K. So as I mentioned, when this drone first released, we were all, especially the Pro Max, which shoots 8K, we were all expecting 8K. And when the drones shipped out to the earlier backers and even influencers and creators such as myself, we were surprised and shocked to see that 8K was only available on certain modes. There was no 8K in follow mode, which is perhaps the number one reason why you want to buy the flying camera drone, the HoverAir. So in the latest firmware update, Hover has, of course, listened and delivered. And we now truly have 8K in all of the modes. So it doesn't matter if you're in follow mode, in dolly mode, in side-by-side mode, all the modes that this drone has all now features 8K, and you can shoot 8K up to 30 frames per second. You can of course shoot at 24 frames per second as well if you like. So there isn't any 8K 60, but come on, 8K in this tiny little thing here is already enough, and by all means does not, impact or affect me at all that we don't have 8K 60, 8K 120 frames per second. We really need to be realistic on the gadgets that we have. Technology has come a long way, but we're just clearly not there yet. Now, in my recent testing of the 8K modes, you can shoot in H.264 and H.265. What I found is that H.264, for whatever reason, gives you the better, sharper image without a lot of noise and a lot of distortion. So for that reason, I have switched back to H.264, understanding that H.265 is the better codec when it comes to compression and file size efficiency. It just, to me, didn't look as good as H.264. And shout out to the HoverAir Facebook community post, because I go on there every single day and just read the feedback being shared by various pilots and users of the flying camera, and that's where someone indicated that H.264 looks better, which alluded me to trying that out, and I can share with you that it does in fact look better than H.264, especially in 8K. Now, the second huge update, in my opinion, besides the long laundry list of things that they improved, is the exposure correction. So when using the flying camera, I was extremely happy to see that they included filters inside of the case here. Filters was something that I knew that I was going to use immediately based on my overall first impressions. What I mean by that is my videos were all overexposed. All the highlights was just way blown out. The sky, as you navigate through obstacles, through trees, you just see that burst of light, and it was always 100% overexposed. And for that reason, I was really excited to see that ND filters were as part of the bundle. However, when using ND filters, it's not that easy with a drone or a flying camera that is using the main camera to track you, because when you do move into darker areas or shaded areas, the camera can no longer track you, I guess, as good as when you are in a great exposure range. So when you are at 0 or +1 EV comp, the drone is going to do fantastic when it comes to tracking you. However, when you start to fall at the -1, when you underexposed by 1 stop or even 2 stops, because you're moving into the shaded area and you do have an NDA or an ND16 installed, whatever it may be, the drone will tend to lose you. And that's my result from using the drone or the flying camera with filters. However, with the recent enhancement with the auto exposure, I really don't think you need any sort of filters on this drone. Of course, if you're moving in a high, fast-paced environment and you absolutely need that motion blur, then go ahead and install a filter, especially if you're gonna be one directional, right? Like if I think about if you're on a mountain or some ski slopes and you're skiing down that mountain, you know that your exposure is gonna stay pretty locked in. However, in the example that I shared where I'm at a park and I'm navigating through trees and between trees and exposure is going to constantly change, ND filters may not be a good idea. But you may not need ND filters, as I mentioned, because I think the recent update really nails exposure really good. I mean, we are now having the highlights correctly exposed, shadows correctly exposed. Thus, you know, when you do go into those shaded areas, you're still staying exposed and being tracked extremely well. And then when you move to those ultra bright environments where you're facing the sun or the sun is peeking through the trees, etc., or obstacles that you may be navigating through, the drone is going to properly expose the highlights as well. So I am extremely pleased with the exposure settings that HoverAir has dialed into the flying camera. Now, the third latest update to the HoverAir Pro Max is the beacon connectivity. So the beacon has had a lot of opportunities since the drone was released. The beacon often didn't connect or dropped its connection, and there was a lot of few things that were missing. So for example, the beacon has a microphone, and we wanted the ability to be able to sync the audio to your HoverAir, just like if you was using the phone. The beacon was equipped with that microphone, but didn't really have that feature enabled. And there's some things that are still missing from the beacon. So for example, now you can adjust your return to home setting. Do you want it to return back home to the original launching point, or do you want it to hover in place? One of the things, considering that you have a beacon, that I would like to see in the future, and HoverAir has shared with me that it is coming, is the ability to return back home to the beacon itself. So if you have a beacon, this is essentially your remote, and you should be able to automatically return back to this location, right? It's tracking the beacon. That's why it's a beacon. It should automatically return back home here. Another useful setting that you can now do is you can navigate to the menu here by just swiping, and you're able to adjust some of the settings and parameters that you were not able to do before. So a lot of great things has happened with the HoverAir Pro Max. I'm sharing this video today because I'm very pleased in the innovation. I think this drone, or this flying camera as HoverAir likes to say, is doing an incredible job, not only from a video quality perspective, but also a tracking perspective. I think the possibilities in terms of content creation is endless, and truly is up to you and your creativity what you can accomplish with this drone. Not only can you fly it with a, with the actual remote that's that you can add to this beacon, which I'll demonstrate here, but you can also simply use it in its current status mode, just the drone itself, and control it right from the actual unit. And by far, I think my favorite feature is the follow me feature, and I'm so happy that 8K was now included in follow mode, because that is the #1 reason why I would probably use this drone, is really to use its follow capabilities as I navigate through the city of New York and navigate from destination to destination, trying to create amazing content for my YouTube channel. So HoverAir, you've done an amazing job with this drone. Thank you so much for continuing to update the firmware. If you, my audience, if you're thinking about buying this one, I think it's an incredible purchase. The capabilities that you get from this camera is just truly stunning compared to the competition. I mean, there is no way to even compare it. This will by far look and achieve so much greater results than the competition can even think about. So for that, that's all that I have to share with you today. I hope that you are enjoying these videos. Stay tuned for some more HoverAir Pro Max. I want to do like an in-depth actual review after like maybe owning this 3 months. The team over at HoverAir, as I mentioned, has been doing an incredible job updating firmware and continue to fix some of the issues that we've seen on this unit as part of the early adopters. So I want to go ahead and continue to wait. I know that HoverAir is going to continue to add some more things and implement and tweak and research based on our user experience. And before I deliver that final product, my final review of this unit itself, I want to make sure that I can give you a product that's towards completion. And that's nothing new. All the major companies are doing that. You buy an electronic device and you got to wait for firmware updates. But that's enough, guys. I don't want to make this video longer than what it should have been. I appreciate all your support. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, go ahead and drop them down in the comments below. I will be there answering all of your questions or feedback. And I appreciate, as always, for watching my video. And until next time, peace.